What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, backthemovieguy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we are finishing Ironheart, Season 1, Episode 6. This is it. This is the end of the Witch's Road. We went down, down, down the Witch's Road with Ironheart. It's a weird way to go, but thank you for being here. I love you. Please click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I know it feels like we just met, but if you've been with me for all 6 of these recaps, then I feel like we know each other pretty well by now. I mean, we could have Thanksgiving together, but it all starts with a subscribe. It's very basic. I'm on my way to 100K, so, you could be on that journey with me. Just clicking like, subscribe, sharing. Go knock on the door of your neighbor and get him to do it too. So, Ironheart. Did we finish strong? So here's been my journey so far. Just to summarize, in case you're just joining me for the finale. Liked the first episode. I tend to look at the first episode differently of any show, and I think about it as a pilot, because I'm also thinking about, does it achieve what it should achieve as a pilot episode? Because now that we live in a streaming world, a lot of people don't make pilot episodes. They get a straight to series order, and then you get a lot of really bizarre, odd, useless first episodes that don't work as pilots. And people forget that there's an art in doing a pilot, because you're never guaranteed more than the first episode. It's supposed to be the episode that pulls people in, which is why when we used to actually see Nielsen ratings, you would see like a show would premiere and maybe it had a huge star in it, so people tuned in and they're like, oh my god, it opened to 18 million people in its first airing. Wow, it's a huge hit. Turns out it was terrible, and in the second episode, it went down to 9 million, Third episode, it's down to 5, and then it got canceled. So, if your attrition rate is profound from episode to episode, and a lot of that has to do with the beginning, you can kind of get weaker in the middle if you have people already invested in your characters, because you can bounce back, or people will think you can bounce back. Which I actually think the show did, arguably, because I liked the first episode. I thought it started to have problems in episodes 2, 3, and 4. 5, we started to rebound, and even 4 had a little bit of it had. If it didn't go down the Witch's Road, it would have been a little bit better. But 5, I thought, rebounded a little bit, and 6, I think, kind of wrapped it up at least as nicely as episode 5 did. Like, we closed on a relatively high note. So, I think there are a lot of Ironheart haters, and they're hating it for a different reason. If you really sort of listen to their content broadly on a more on a wider scale, then you'll be able to pick up on why those reasons are, why certain people don't like this. There are some people who I legitimately follow who I know are not like that and also just don't like the show. But there are also people who do like the show and who have given it good reviews. So in the finale, spoilers, because now I finally get to talk about the appearance of Mephisto, because he's not just at the end of credits. Sacha Baron Cohen is in actually a couple scenes in the finale. We get to see him sort of meeting Parker and helping to give Parker the cloak, the hood. And Parker meets with Mephisto and he yells at him. He's like, you didn't come through on your promise. I said I wanted everything. I feel like I have nothing. Because he doesn't have any family or friends, right? So, we also, Ironheart had to use the magic and she sacrificed. We're still coming out of that too. So Natalie is gone, and RiRi's having to deal with that, but she still uses like a lot of the ideas, like the hologram idea, with with Parker and Joe, who's still being controlled by, they have to kind of get him free. RiRi's trying to help save Joe in this thing. But yeah, Mephisto is the reason why everybody wants to talk about this episode, is because now Mephisto has been released upon. It's sort of like how Loki introduced the character that was going to end up being like the big bad for the Avengers movies. Ironheart has been given the privilege of having Mephisto, who could really end up being like a huge problem for them in the MCU. I know they have Doctor Doom, so I'm wondering how they're going to use Mephisto moving forward, because it feels like having Mephisto and Doctor Doom in the same film doesn't make any sense. And they were going to grow Majors into, like, he was in the Ant-Man Quantum Mania, and then he was going to leap to the Avengers movie. So it feels like Mephisto still has a film between now and Avengers. If he ever gets there. If he becomes the primary villain for somebody else, for a new team, I don't know. So I'm interested to see the trajectory of Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto. I kind of just want to talk about Ironheart actually agreeing to work with Mephisto at the end, because he never comes across as being like a guy you should work with. It always feels like you're doing a deal with the devil. And this is the one thing I didn't like about the finale. I thought the finale closed everything else fine, the Parker stuff. I kind of wanted Ironheart. My finale would have had Ironheart inheriting the rest of that group, Clown and the rest of, and them being like her new squad or whatever, along with her family. And then that would have made her strong, and she would have been like, it's the neighborhood that makes me, it's my family, it's my friends. That's how I win, not magic. But no, they go with that magic route, which is a less interesting way to go. It doesn't quite make as much sense because, again, Sacha Baron Cohen isn't even played as being, he's not even playing Mephisto like I might be a good guy. Like, he's clearly like a mustache twirling type villain. Like, he does this thing with his voice where it like echoes, and it's like, like they're modifying his voice so he even sounds like a bad guy. And it's like, what on earth? And he's not even slightly bothered by Dormammu, which I think is a great flex for his character, for people who don't want to go read the comic books and they're like, was this guy bad? Well, if you saw Doctor Strange, you saw Dormammu, and you're like, well, Dormammu seemed pretty badass. Mephisto's like, Dormammu isn't even fit to clean my shoes. Like, Mephisto thinks he's such a badass that giant thing that kept killing Doctor Strange isn't even fit to clean. So what on earth is RiRi doing in this room right now? Run, girl. This would be like finding a character who was like, oh, Thanos. He had to actually snap his fingers. Man, I can do that just with my mind. You won't even know that I'm doing it. But I just choose not to. I can just erase people from existence just by thinking about it. And then, chilling when you think about it. But, Thanos actually had to go get the Mind Stones and everything. Oh, what a loser. So I would be concerned about that person. I'd be like, I don't know that I want to work with you. Thank you for the job opportunity. I'm going to leave now. But my God, this girl wants to get Natalie back. And it's like, you got her by scanning your brain. I think I would try to replicate that first before making a deal with Mephisto. It's not like you didn't use some like rare material that you can never get again. You can recreate her. And because you have now experienced Natalie and she was created from your memory, you would have the memory of having had Natalie as an AI. So the AI would remember the whole thing of having been previously existed. And I think it wouldn't be quite as jarring as what they end up doing, which is Mephisto brings Natalie back from the dead. So Natalie is no longer an AI. She's just confusingly standing around the workshop, like, where am I? She just like appears. And at first, RiRi thinks Natalie is the hologram in it. So she talks to her like she had all these hologram experiences. And then, she realizes that, oh shit, real person. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see where that goes from there because, as her friend says, there's a price to pay for these things. Obviously, we saw that with Parker, with his tattoos and everything. And then they start to show tattoos on RiRi. Those little dark tattoos start to climb up her arm. So, Mephisto is coming for RiRi. Also his pitch, I felt like is a little bit much. He's like, yeah, I work with a lot of powerful people. I like working with smart people. I'm trying to do Sacha Baron Cohen. Of the Fortune 100, 500, Forbes, whatever. He's all of them. They all work with him, basically. He's saying, like, you can't get there without working with me. He's like, world leaders. And he said he even has a beetle. And I was like, that's clever, Ringo. Like, really? But I love that, like, that was thrown in for the adults because I don't think the kids care. But I'm sure the kids were like, a beetle named Ringo? What does that mean? Mom, what's Ringo? Is that... Are they in the Marvel comics? Is it like Blue Beetle? So, yeah, I don't know, he's fine. I thought Sacha Baron Cohen did a great job here, and he closed out the series, but would I have made all the same choices? No. And I think part of the problem with Ironheart is, again, we gave it like the shortest episode count ever, and we tried to just run through it. Like we were like running through the gauntlet, you know? I don't know why this is in 10 episodes. We would have gotten so much more character development out of it. But I kind of wonder if they had been given more episodes, what would they have done with it? Because I don't fully trust the writers because they made some weird choices. But I also wonder if some of those choices weren't made because everything had to be shortened, because maybe they originally were told that they have 8 or 10 episodes. And then Marvel was like, oh no, we don't have enough faith in your project, so we're going to cut you back to 6. And it's like, but that really affects the story. So then the whole thing you're worried about with something being good, if you say something is the way that it needs to be what it is. It doesn't, when you start trying to cut it back and chop it up and shrink the story together, then it feels very truncated. It feels very choppy. It feels very short. It feels very underdeveloped. The characters feel like they don't quite have the same motivations necessary to complete the project or the task that they're completing. So Ironheart has a lot of that, but none of that is the fault of the actors. And yet they act like it is. They act like conceptually from birth that this project was always problematic. And I don't think that that's the case. I think RiRi is very much a solid hero who has the same sort of background origin story that many other heroes have. She just unfortunately wasn't given the same love and care in her development. The thing is, if you order an Ironheart movie, then somebody knows that they have to write that story in a cinematic form in like a 2 to 2.5 hour block. So you write that script, and then, they don't dramatically change too much, and you write for that. And then maybe they don't do all of the same beats, or they have, maybe they don't add all the same characters, and we don't get all of the little moments, but it feels more cinematic, and it feels like a completed project. This feels like something that was chopped into 6 episodes. So yeah, Ironheart, did it close out strong? Sort of, because Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto is just great casting. I mean, he's excellent. I can't wait to see him go up against Doctor Strange. I hope it gets to happen at some point, because there's something about his screen presence that just screams, put me against Benedict Cumberbatch any time of... and also, sadly, Like, I really want to see him go against like Robert Downey Jr., but I don't know how RDJ is playing Doom, but he also feels like somebody who would have been excellent to go against Tony Stark. Certain characters just feel like I want to see him face off against certain characters more so than other characters. Like I don't really care about I don't know, the Thunderbolts. Versus the Thunderbolts just doesn't seem like that fun of a film to me. I mean, it could be, but it just doesn't really feel like I like the Thunderbolts. But or the Eternals. I feel like the Eternals would be confused by him. Shang-Chi, I don't know, maybe. So yeah, Ironheart season finale. I mean, I guess they could do a second season, but I don't think, the problem is that now we have Mephisto, and I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen wants to do a Disney Plus TV show. I think he was introduced for promise of doing a series. Jonathan Majors did do the second season of Loki, so maybe that's here. Maybe they are planning it, but they haven't made a whole lot of second seasons to their Marvel shows, so it's not really guaranteed. Would I watch it? Yeah, I'd watch it. Would other people? I don't know. So Ironheart, let's go with A minus. I'm gonna go with an A minus. Yeah, I like the show. I think it closed out strong. So overall, that's it. Thanks for joining me. And I'll be reviewing that Wakanda show that comes out in like a month. Wakanda Forever. God, we've got Ironheart. We just had Thunderbolts, and we're gonna have Fantastic Four, and we have Wakanda Forever TV show. So sure, lots of Marvel stuff. I'm sure X-Men 97 is down the pike. So I'll have lots of Marvel content for you. Thanks for clicking that subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the other side.